Welcome to Thriving Your Love, a podcast where we will guide and help you improve your most precious relationships in life. This podcast is produced and hosted by certified emotionally focused therapist Claudio Vargas Silva, licensed marriage and family therapist, and Trisha Kim Walsh, also licensed marriage and family therapist.
Welcome, friends and listeners. We are back and thriving your love. And I know, Claudio, it's been a little bit since we've had the chance to do a recording, and we cannot wait to talk. And it seems somewhat fitting as we begin a new season headed into fall that we talk about reconnecting through repair. Something that we experience with all of our clients, right, Claudio, that when we have our clients come in, they come in because of a conflict that they've gone through in their lives with their loved ones. And often, really, it's the repair, Claudio. That is the key ingredients of true meaningful love, is how do we get back to connect, but through repair? Because as I tell my clients, it is a guarantee in life that we as humans are going to make mistakes. In fact, I tell my clients that there will be times when I make a mistake in our sessions, and it's how we repair that will help you continue to feel that I'm on this journey with you as your couples therapist, your individual therapist. Even when I'm working with my teen clients, I will get it wrong with them and say, hey, how often do you feel that you are able to have a repair? And they look at me like, what are we talking about? What is repair? Well, we're going to get into that today. So stay tuned. We've got a great topic for you, Claudio. So let's dive into this reconnecting through repair.
Yes. And Trisha, what you said, I also remember that this is a question that I do at our first session with clients. I ask them, so when you guys have an argument, how long do you take to repair? Do you go back? Do you talk about that, or you leave as it is? Who is the person who takes the initiative to repair? And if you are that person, what do you do? And then when you try to connect or you try to reconnect with your partner, how your partner responds. So all of this shows how healthy a relationship is. And what I see also is that in our sessions, I don't know how it is with you, Trisha, but with me, what I see is that most sessions with couples, they are like talking about problems. And when they don't have a problem to talk, I think, what are we going to talk today? So what I see is that when they have a problem to talk, we use that problem to help them to connect to each other, to understand each other. So then we see how those problems actually become opportunities for them to connect to each other, to to understand better each other. So we see that these problems that they have, the arguments that they have, are really opportunity to grow, opportunity to get closer to each other, to understand each other better. So it's not a negative thing. And what we see is that every couple has problems, arguments, fights. So it's normal. It doesn't show that it's bad, the relationship. Also, I remember a study that was made about parents, that the good parents, they get right with their children only 30% of times. So actually what shows that they are good parents is because they are good in terms of reconnecting, in terms of repairing. They know how to do that. They take ownership. And I was talking to a couple, and the guy, he said that he admires his wife because when she gets it wrong with their children, she apologized to them and she feels completely comfortable apologizing. That really gets the children close to her. So then we see, Trisha, the power actually of these problems how we can use them to reconnect, to get closer with each other.
Such an amazing statistic to think about that for just a moment. I'm asking all our viewers and listeners to think about how often we as humans grow by learning about one another and making mistakes. We're not perfect people. We're not in perfect relationships. We are not raising perfect children. However, there is such pressure in the world to get it right all the time. But just alone, and that percentage of 30% is to say, think about what is happening in the other 70%, right? Claudio, is the learning, the listening, the humility to slow down. What we say in emotionally focused therapy, Claudio, is to go slow, is to go fast. And I don't know about you, but I find that in the moments that I'm most connected with people in my life, it's when I'm listening, not thinking about a rebuttal that I'm about to say because I think I'm right. And let's be honest, who in the world does not feel that inside of themselves? I call it the Steven Spielberg, the director version of ourselves that say, I'm right, I've been wronged. You can be right, but you can also be lonely. And so it is in those relationships, partner to partner, parent to child, when you have the ability of repairing by another R that I really love, and that's remorse, is I love you so much and it hurts me so deeply that you're hurting, that I'm hurting, that I really want to reconnect. I feel remorseful that something happened and I want to understand. And there is a powerful pause, and having hope and trust is I hope and trust that you know how much I love you, how much you matter to me, how much even when I make a mistake, you can still accept my humanness, my flawedness as your parent, as your partner, that you know I'm trying. And I feel like in those moments with my couples, when they turn to the other and say, I didn't mean to hurt you. And after hearing what you had to say, after listening to what you had to say, it makes me feel so sad. It makes me hurt to hear that you're hurting. And I love this because I hear it all the time is I want to get it right with you. I really want to do something different. And I let them know that's the change, is when you show the remorse of it's not about me being right. It's about us getting right back to connection, right back to repair, right back to, I trust you know how much you matter to me. That is where the real growth and repair begins.
Yes, I was now remembering a couple. They had a situation that was about the wife's birthday. So the husband, he asked her what she would like for her birthday, and he went out of his way to ask her and to do everything he could to give her the best birthday experience. And he got his children also with him on that because he wanted to teach them the importance of celebrating their mother. So he went out with them to buy gifts and flowers, and he was thinking that he was doing everything right because he checked with her several times. But for some reason, he missed something. It wasn't exactly what she expected, and there were other people involved also. She got mad at him, and this was so hard for him, because he had worked so hard and he wanted her to see his effort, to see his good intentions, to give him an acknowledgement. Hey, I see how hard you worked for this, and I appreciate so much what you did. But he didn't get that. So it was very hard for him, very frustrating. And then they had an experience of repair when he explained to her, how hard he had worked. And he said, for me, it's very important that you give me a message, that you see my good intentions, even if it wasn't the way you expected, but that you tell me, yeah, it wasn't what I expected, but I value your effort. I acknowledge you. I see how hard you worked, and I appreciate you very much because it makes me feel that you care about me. It makes me feel that I am important to you. So he needed to hear that message from her. And what was beautiful that I noticed also is that he said, I need to do a better job in terms of getting what you want, understanding what is important to you, and getting it right. But also, he sent that message, I need your acknowledgement that you saw how hard I worked and how you are important to me. And then she acknowledged him. She gave that acknowledgement. She said that she felt really loved by him when she realized how hard he worked. So we see here that it wasn't only about him explaining to her his feelings, but how she listened to him, as you said, how she had that humility to see, yes, I see what is happening for you. I see how hard that was, that I got mad at you, and that it was very, very hurtful for you. And now I can see that I have hurt your feelings, and I can see also that you worked hard. I want to acknowledge you. I see how important that is for you, and I want to give that to you. So we see like how they worked so well in repair. And this is what I was talking, Trisha, that it seems like some of the most beautiful experiences of connecting, getting closer to each other, knowing each other comes through repair. These experiences. So it is, how can you have an experience like that, right? So this is something very special, Trisha.
Right. It is an embedded gift that we are born with, Claudio, is to be able to have the capacity of empathy, which is something that in the work of EFT, that a lot of my clients come in asking for tools. They want to improve their communication. And I tell them, I'm happy to give that to you, but I have good news for you. And that's really in the science of love, is that we, in our DNA, our biological right is to attach. And one of the ways that we attach to each other is by recognizing we all have the capacity in the depths of our feeling to touch when we feel that we've done harm to another, and that goes back to that. To repair is to have remorse. And that is the reflection to this wonderful example that you're giving us, Claudio, is I really want you to recognize that I love you. And then I wanted to give you the gift of all the things I could think about, that you are so special to me. And I wanted you to feel special. And this partner at one moment didn't feel all of that. And then to not get that recognition caused him to really feel pain. They got back to repair. They got back to healing through each other's trust to listen. So that's something we all have, is how do we really stay present and listening? Because when we listen, we learn so much. It's just so hard to listen because sometimes we're so ready to defend ourselves that we really aren't able to connect. And so the reconnection, Claudio, and this is such a great topic for today, because I think we're in a time in our country where we're needing a lot of repair. And part of repair is recognizing we're no longer feeling a certain level of safety. Because what happens when we feel unsafe is we defend, we try to make excuses, we shut down, we're not really listening. But the most powerful thing that we recently talked about, Claudio, that I want to recognize is touch, is that I have found that during the pandemic, something we've lost is, being able to see each other in person. What I love most as I return back to the office and see clients in person is when I notice how the limbic system kind of calms down when lovers are touching. And I don't mean just obviously in holding hands and maybe kissing, but actually even just knees bumping up against to each other or holding hands. It's just
Mhm.
amazing that what we see is the oxytocin, which is that cuddle hormone. It produces those endorphins that mothers and fathers give to their children to make them feel safe. Is that even just the touch of please come to me, be close to me, reassure me that I matter to you. The book Hold Me Tight, right? I mean, literally, that says, when I've done wrong, when I've hurt you, please know that I still want to be loved by you. I still want to feel your closeness. Please don't go away. That's often where sometimes my clients will say is, I just need a hug. I'm just feeling so sad and I just need a hug. I don't need you to say anything. I don't need you to fix it. I just need you to come close to me.
Yeah, and it reminds me also like there's a couple that I saw a long time ago when we were in the like one of the last sessions that we had. So this guy, he was saying about what he needed from his wife to feel that they were connected to each other, like what he needed from her to feel reassured of her love and to feel comforted. And he said that he needed a hug. I also see that clients, when they are trying to reconnect to each other, I see that they touch each other. So I like to see, what is happening with them in terms of their body, what they are doing, if they are getting closer, if they are looking at each other, if they are moving towards each other, as you said, like touching knees. So there was this wife that she was telling me, oh, we are touching knees because I was looking them through Zoom and I didn't know. So she said, we are touching knees. So she wanted to reconnect to him. So she was touching and he didn't know about that. No, he didn't understand how she tried to get close to him, how she gave a message, hey, I am ready for us to reconnect. I want to repair. I am open to you. So that's what she did. She tried to touch him in some way. And during the conversation, she would talk something to him and then she put her hand in his shoulder. So I knew that was a moment of connection. I was also remembering here between me and my daughter, I was one day like sad about something that happened between us, and I was thinking how I would approach. I needed repair, and sometimes, right, Trisha, in our relationships we need repair. We need to talk to the other person about how we felt hurt. So we need the other person to acknowledge what they did to hurt us. So I remember, and I was thinking how I would talk to my daughter. And this is something very, very important. I didn't want to give her the impression that I was right. I didn't want to talk about the content. I just wanted to talk about how I felt. So it wasn't about saying, that she was wrong and what she did. No, I just wanted to focus on my feelings and talk in a way that sent her a message. I am open for us to reconnect. And I remember that at the end of the conversation, we gave a hug. And that was really powerful. I wanted to give her a message that I was really proud of her and how important she is to me. I was driving. I talked to her, I want you to know how proud I am of you, the person that you have become, the things that you are doing. You are so responsible. So that was like such a moment, a powerful moment of connection. What I want to say to couples that is really important when they are thinking about getting something straight, when they are thinking about repairing, that they don't think about attacking the other, showing that the other is wrong, attacking the person's character, but giving them a message. I trust in our relationship. I trust you. I love you. I want to reconnect with you. And that you talk about your feelings. it is the other person who is talking to you about their hurt, that you try to acknowledge them, that you take ownership, that you don't try, don't focus only on being right and defending yourself, but that you can take ownership, apologize if it's necessary, and giving a sincere apology, not an apology that is just to satisfy the other person, but a truth felt apology, and you acknowledge the hurt that you might have caused. So these really are like things that help couples to repair.
Yeah, Claudio, these are gold nuggets here. So I'm inviting everyone to take a pen, a writing utensil, and write these things down, because these are the key ingredients to have a lifelong loving relationship with your child, with your teenager, your young adult child, your partner, your colleagues, right? These are the ingredients of great connection that we need as humans, just like we need oxygen and we need to sleep and eat well in our lives. Is, just as a kind of a recap, of all the things that you just said, Claudia, so many wonderful examples, is showing empathy, sitting inside and touching what we're feeling, as opposed to keeping track of the content, right? The fact finding. We kind of get into the judges, the attorneys of our mind, of choosing to pick a side rather than to say, I love you. I'm proud of you. You matter to me. I want us to heal. I want us to reconnect. I want us to repair. And the other piece, I know we didn't talk directly to this, Claudio, but every time we do Thriving Your Love, it's vulnerability. Is how do we acknowledge, is it really about who was right and who's wrong? Or the fact that both of us are in this experience, this journey called life, where we're learning to be better to each other and to be better to ourselves. And Claudia, I think this topic of reconnecting through repair is the key ingredients to the greatest love of all, in our own self-love, is that I deserve to be in a life as much as possible with conflict-free moments. And this is one of those examples in our topics that we love going into these episodes, of saying we see the great change is through listening, through touch, through empathy, through going slower, not faster, listening from our heart rather than from our heads. I think just to kind of close it today, Claudio, is to remember you're not alone, that we are all doing this. You're doing this. I'm doing this, right, Claudio? We're in this process humbly, with great humility. We're reminded we're human and we're meant to learn through this process. And we're right beside you to help you every step of the way. So with that being said, let's go ahead and we'll pause for today. But I have a great feeling, Claudio, we're going to be talking about these topics once more. So thanks everyone for joining us today. We can't thank you enough for taking your time to be with us heart to heart.
Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. We hope you'll join us soon again for our next episode of Thriving Your Love.